field work day, ladies and gentlemen. We're out at the field in order to do field work. I have a bucket out here in this field that's 250 feet away. Got a pile of justices in different stabilities, different beat in, all that kind of stuff. And we got a pile of bounties. Okay, so I've got neutral, understable, and overstable. We're gonna work on our accuracy today, which obviously not only deals with the disc, but also our throw, our footwork, everything. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna try and get dialed at 250 feet, forehand and backhand. Let's do it. So one thing that's always been annoying about this field that I go to is that the highway's right over there, and for some reason it generates a lot of wind. They also just did some construction and cut down a whole bunch of trees, and it's just allowed the wind to flow in. But wind is a part of disc golf. So right now I've got a left to right wind compared to where I'm throwing, so I have to keep that in mind. We're gonna be throwing backhands and sidearms. I just got this new beauty, if you guys haven't seen, just posted a video, a little surprise from my friends over at Lore. They just sent this over, absolutely ridiculous. So this is a nice, clean, new bounty that I'm excited to throw. We got the hand-eye one that's more beat in. This is like a Hyzer Flip mid-range. We got the old one that's probably gonna be replaced by the new one. Even though I love this thing, it's literally the exact same disc. So we're gonna be throwing that. And then we got the Lucid X Moonshine, which is a little bit more stable, but honestly, not too much more stable depending on the angle that I hit it on. And then next, we've got our Justices, okay? I have a new one coming in from Lore that I'm really excited to throw. But I've really been like focusing and thinking about having too many molds. For me as a content creator, it's really fun to have a lot of molds because you guys get to see a lot of different flights. But that doesn't mean that when I go out and play serious rounds that I need to throw all these different molds. I need to be confident, and I'm confident with the bounty and I'm confident with Justices. And I honestly think that I can achieve any shot on the spectrum that I need to, sidearm backhand with both of these discs. So we've got an old beat-in one. A lot of you guys will remember this. We've got the one that's currently in my bag that is almost to the point of this one, but not quite yet. We've got this one, which is I always forget the name of that plastic. Fusion Justice right here. And then this is a soft Justice, which is gonna be fun to throw. I've thrown it before, but it's a little bit strange, super touchy. But this could easily take the place of like my harp approach shots as it beats in. And then we got another Fusion one from Lore, of course. So we're gonna get these dialed, backhand, sidearm, all that kind of stuff. Talk about the process of getting accurate within 250 feet. Let's get it. I wanna start off with the Justices on a sidearm, okay? So 250 feet, left to right wind. If I throw it on a hyzer, it's gonna get pushed because I'm showing the bottom face to the wind. So if I wanna do that, I just need to aim a little bit more left. If I throw it flat, it should be fine, but a Justice, you guys know, is pretty overstable. So I'm actually gonna throw them on anhyzers, and the wind will still push down on it a little bit, so I have to keep that in mind too. But we're just gonna work on our accuracy. So these are all gonna be pretty much standstill, and I'm gonna give them some good power, good anhyzer, and I'm trying to land close to the bucket down there. Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, so that one was probably about 230. First throw of the day, not bad. We'll throw the other Fusion one, which I haven't thrown much, so this one will be a little bit more stable. I can give it a little bit more power, but since I'm gonna give it more power, I'm gonna give it a little less angle. Oh, that one's a flutter bug, but we still got it down there. Still came back, even though it was fluttering. Still pretty close to the circle there. So I did one round with this. It came from a hand-eye box. And I'm just gonna throw this one out on a hyzer, but aim pretty far left, because I think it might flip up some. Oh! Dude, that thing's sick. It just died too. That's a fun disc. All right, so this is in the Lucid plastic. It is a little bit more beat in, but I don't think it'll be as beat in as the Fusion plastic. My goodness. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's a clean shot. Whew. Dude, it's just money, man. 250 dialed with this thing. You can do flex lines and everything. All right, one more go here. All right, so I turned that one over a little bit too much out of my hand. Gave it too much anhyzer, and I was thinking about the water on the rim, so I didn't throw it correctly. Fusion Justice and Fusion Justice, about maybe 33, probably circle's edge away. We got this one right here that is pretty close. And then I turned this one over a little bit too much, and then you guys already know about the other one that I threw over there. But overall, the Justice, man, it's like, it is my go-to flex line approach shot disc when I need something that I can trust. And some people might be like, man, but that thing's so overstable. But when you throw an overstable disc, it makes you commit to your line. And if you don't, well, then you come out way early. But learning that commitment not only helps you throw stable discs, but it helps you throw other discs in committing to the line, the power, and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna get back and throw the Bounty and throw these Justices backhand. In these conditions, I would never throw a Bounty on a sidearm with this wind. It's just too unreliable. That's what I have the Justice for. So there's no need to throw that shot because it isn't something that I would ever do. Now backhand and wind like this, yeah, I probably would. So we're gonna pick these up and we're gonna try and get dialed in with the backhand as well. And then I'm gonna show you guys some different shot shapes too. Still have the thing out there. I'm a little closer now. We're about 200 feet away. Another shot that I love throwing that honestly has made me fall in love with scrambling is touch anhyzer forehands like this. So we're gonna throw a couple of those with these Justices, see if we can get them dialed in. I wanted to try and hold the anhyzer the whole way. Now obviously, with the Justice being as beat-in as it is, that's gonna take a lot of spin control, and it's also going to take a more beat-in disc. And so that's why you bag different weights, different plastics, different use rate of discs in your bag. So if you really like the way that something feels, like I love the way that the Justice feels, then I'm gonna have a Lucid Chameleon Justice in there that's just gonna be a beefcake, and then I'll probably have a soft one in there, and then I'll have a kind of middle of the road one. And that way when I grab it, I know how it feels, I know what to expect from it because I've thrown it so many different times, and just the feel of the disc adds so much confidence. That's just so important. So we're gonna stand over here to the side, and I'm gonna throw some anhyzer shots here with these Justices as if I were imagining woods on a curve, and I'm trying to get this down there to that basket. Now again, this wind is gonna affect it. It's a pretty heavy left to right wind. As you guys can see, that just took off. So in the woods, you wouldn't really deal with that too much, but who knows? It's still something that you should definitely try and practice in. So gonna grab these and see if we can dial in a nice little anhyzer approach to that bucket. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Right on the circle's edge. So, you saw the wind affected a little bit. That was the soft one. It actually felt really good. I'm gonna throw both the Fusion ones now, and I'm gonna need to get these maybe a little bit higher, but that'll give it too much time to come back. So I might actually keep it in a low space and just give it a good amount of anhyzer to try and hold the whole way there. All right, so that one came out a little bit early. I do think I need to give it a little bit more air. But again, this is what we're doing. We're dialing this in. Stable up. All right, so a little bit too much angle on that one. So now the Lucid ones should be a little more stable than that. So that same angle with that same power should come out and land pretty close to the bucket. I gave that too much air, it's coming out. But still, yeah, that came out way too early. That one came out as well. So, what did we just learn? We learned for this shot, we don't want to throw that Lucid one. We either want to throw the soft one, or we want to throw one of the Fusion ones, especially as they beat in. I haven't thrown those Fusion ones that much. So as I get out in the woods and I play with them, and they start getting more understable, it's gonna fill that slot even better and give me that confidence as I'm holding a disc that I feel good with. There's a lot of different ways to approach tips when it comes to disc golf. You can do very functional ones like foot placement, arm release, all this kind of stuff. Obviously the biggest tip for accuracy is just going to be practice and getting dialed in with something. But for me, so much of my accuracy does come from that practice and getting those reps in. But so much of it also comes from confidence. And you could be confident with a lot of different molds. I guess think about it like languages, if you will. People who are multilingual or whatever, they're probably confident in a couple of different languages that they know really, really well. And same with someone with tools or anything like that, any sort of craft, you have tools that you're confident with. And with the Justice in my bag, if you look at it like a tool, you think about a hammer. A hammer not only hits things in, but it also pulls it out. So it has two functions. For me, with the Justice, I've grabbed a disc that I'm confident with with its feel, and I'm confident with big Hyzers. I'm confident with those flex lines with it, and I'm also confident with good like pushing and Hyzer shots. Even though it is such an overstable disc, as you beat them in, you get them to that point where they can do multiple things. And so, confidence is so key to accuracy. Like, a lot of you guys can probably speak to this. You know that if you're feeling well and you're just like feeling dialed with a disc, you don't even think about technical stuff. You're just like, oh, I know how to throw this disc. I've thrown it before, and you get it to that spot. And so for me, like what I've really been trying to work on this off season is kind of lowering the number of discs or the number of molds that I have in my bag and choosing ones that I feel confident with that I could not live without in my bag, and then finding different plastics, different molds. Like you guys know, I've done that with my Bounty, and now I'm doing it with my Justice. Like I said, I have a really overstable one coming that I'm super excited to throw, and then I've got some middle of the road ones, and now with this soft one I just started putting work in with, I was like, yo, this is sick, it feels good, it drops by the basket, and I can get a little more anhyzer out of it, so I'm gonna throw that in the bag and replace another disc that I might have had that doesn't match the other molds. Now we're gonna jump into some backhands with these and try and get them dialed in that sense as well. We're back out to the 250 line now. So like I was telling y'all, you want your tools in your bag to have multiple uses. There are gonna be some tools that are only used for one thing, like a saw, you cut stuff with it. But then you have other things that have multiple uses. And so like for instance, that would be like my Sampo. I have one use for that disc, and it's throwing it on flippy freaking sidearms. It doesn't really have anything else because that's all it can really be used for. But then you have things like this that I can use on multiple shots. So with the backhand, we've got big Hyzers, and then I've got just power committed flex lines out of these things. And that's what I'm gonna throw now. So I'm gonna throw a couple big Hyzers, probably with the Fusion ones, and then with the Lucid ones, we're gonna try and flex it and show you guys what that looks like. So right now with this wind again, obviously we need something stable to fight it. I'm gonna throw this really soft one on just a big booming Hyzer and see if we can get this dialed and find that 250 foot distance. Oh, the wind threw it down. Okay. So I need to get these up in the air, and I need to give it a full throw. I didn't really commit to that throw, honestly. That's way out there and the wind's pushing it, but it came back in just a little bit. But since it is a pretty blunt-nosed disc, it's not gonna skip as much as if it was a driver. There it is. So that's one of the shots that we have right there. Way short though. But I wouldn't try and throw a big Hyzer with this for 250 feet because honestly it's a pump. I would throw this flex line shot. So I'm gonna be aiming right at it, and I'm gonna throw it on an anhyzer, and you guys will see how much fun this shot is. Actually, I'm gonna aim a little bit to the right of it, knowing that when it does land, it's gonna push back to the left. Headwind now. So I tried to throw that on a little bit of an anhyzer, and it just like pushes straight. I can't get anhyzers with these Justices on backhands like I can on sidearms. So same shot here. Yeah, that more beat-in one will give it to me. In the headwind too, look at that. So that's a super sick shot. So that's one of the tools in my bag that I love having, my Justice. I can throw it on lots of different lines, and as I come out and practice, I can get those dialed, and I know what to grab when I'm out in the woods. Now, we've got our Bounties, which in this headwind are gonna be super understable. So that means we're gonna throw them on a little bit more of a Hyzer, see if we can push them out there. They might flip up some. We're just gonna try and be slow and smooth and accurate with it. Again, there is a little bit of a headwind here. Yeah, so that's gonna flip. Getting used to the headwind with that. Okay, so in order to adjust to that, we aim a little bit more left and we throw down a little bit more hyzer. And you'll see that one flip up and get right now. Yes, sir. So that's why you come out and practice in the wind too, so that you can get used to that kind of stuff. So hyzer flips with these in the headwind, obviously. Now, what I'm gonna do is imagine a left to right hole where I can't see the basket and I have to go on a big and hyzer. I wouldn't do a hyzer flip with that. I would throw the disc flat over to the left, especially in a wind, and let it work. So I'm gonna aim left and flat with this, and we're gonna watch it do some work. Left and flat, nice and hyzer again. The headwind's still pushing that, but not too bad. And then now we've got the blend one that we are going to hyzer flip, and this is gonna be fun. I just wanna show you all this shot that we have with this. Still aiming for the basket, but I'll probably go past it. So my goal is to go right over top of it with a big time hyzer flip. Oh, flip over for me, the wind stopped. All right, so the wind stopped on that one right as I threw. So that's why I went like that, but you saw it flip up and push straight. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing with mid-ranges, is trying to kind of dial it down. And I've learned that from watching a lot of pros where they're like, yeah, I've got 5 felons in my bag. And I'm like, what the freak? Why? Especially for someone like me who likes to mess around with new things, likes to create fun shots, which is why I throw that Sampo crazy like I do. I love that kind of stuff. But when it comes to being confident and consistent, especially when it comes to choosing, like you see a line, you're standing in the woods and you see something, you're like, okay, I need this disc. And one way that I do that, just as another little side tip, I compare every hole to a hole or a shot that I've thrown before. So when I step up to a shot and I'm like, okay, this reminds me of hole 2 at Kilbourne. And it's like, okay, what did I throw there and what worked in the past? And I grab that. And that repetition, especially with having consistent molds in your bag, you can go up to a shot, you can be like, okay, I remember in the past throwing this justice on this line and parking it. You grab that, you execute the shot. So I really hope that this video, if anything, just kind of lets you guys in on some of the stuff that I'm practicing. I don't come out to the field too much, but when I do, you know, I try and be out here and film it for you guys. I never really come out and practice if I'm not filming, so you guys almost always see what I'm doing. But it's really fun to come out, grab these discs, build confidence with them, and put in work. And yeah, it's not as fun as playing on the course. Like, no, field work isn't fun. Field work is work. That's why it's called work. But you come out here, you get dialed in so that you have more fun on the course as you start playing better. Even though it's not always about winning. But I think if we're all honest, we enjoyed a little bit more if we're shooting well, right? So, hope you guys enjoyed.